Hey everybody, and welcome to Book Chat. I'm your host, Arthur Vinny Moore. Welcome to the show today, and thank you for listening in. We're having just a few technical difficulties today, so I ask that you would please bear with me as we try to get through these things on the show today. Satan is always busy, and so he is trying his level best to disrupt the show today, but God willing, we will get through. There may be a bit of interference in what you hear today, but I just ask that you would please ignore that and listen to what we're going to be talking about today. So before we get to that, of course, I always want to give out the URLs so you can reach out to me on social media. If you don't listen to the show live, you can always listen to the recorded version that's uploaded directly after the show has ended. And you can also check out the topic on my blog site that I post each and every Saturday after the show's over. So, of course, let's move on. If you've got something to write with and on, we'll get right to this. So, of course, the first one is to my Spreaker account, and that is https://www.spreaker.com/user/Arthur Vivian E. Moore. You can also reach out to me on Facebook, which is https://facebook.com/Vivian Moore. You can also check me out on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is God's Property 46. I didn't upload the show today on Instagram because there's also a technical problem with that as well. Excuse me, but I did upload it on Facebook if you want to check it out there. But my Instagram is https://Instagram.com/God's Property 51. You can also check out my website, which is on Wix, and that is https://VivianMoore.wixsite. That's WIXSITE.com/Arthur Vivian Moore. And also my blog, which is vivianemore.blogsite.com. You can also pick the show up on iTunes and also iHeartRadio if you want to listen to the recorded versions of today's show and any shows that have been broadcast previously. All right, so let's move on to today's show while everything is still working in good order. So let's move on. So the title of today's show is Poetic Justice, and the topic is the prose and prowess of poetry. I love the movie Poetic Justice. I don't know how many of you saw that movie. John Singleton wrote and directed it, and it came out quite a few years ago. But Janet Jackson, as well as Tupac, was in the movie, but it was basically centered around her character. And the story was just wonderful, and she was wonderful in this story. But it's about a woman and how she deals with relationship woes and just a ho-hum everyday existence and just getting through each moment of the day in South Central LA without losing her identity and also her life. And she uses poetry as a means of expression to translate her feelings and outlook on life. The words were therapeutic that she wrote for herself, and they helped her to gain a new lease on life. Now, just switching from movies to books, have you ever considered how poetry sometimes plays a major role, not just in movies, but also in storytelling? It's the balance that lies between descriptive writing and the flow of stylized words. One of my favorite books in the Bible is the Song of Solomon because it's very poetic. It's a very poetic narrative that speaks of kisses and wine and the savor of good ointments pouring forth and virgins. The words are poetic, and they are also metaphoric when describing all of the things that are transpiring between a man and a woman. Now, when I first read this book as a teen, I knew then that it was filled with plenty of sexual connotations, but presented in a way that was visually and vocally pleasing to anyone who read it. It was one of the most beautifully written books of the Bible, with plenty of impressions and interpretations that leave little for inquisitive imaginations to break down to their own level of understanding. Many Christians and biblical scholars they wonder why this particular passage of scripture was selected as part of the 66 books of the Bible, because it is suggestive and erotic, but on a poetic level. My opinion is this, that it was included because it shows how human we are, revealing our desires and expectations. At the same time, it romanticizes the true feelings of an admirer and displays a healthy relationship between a man and a woman. What really matters about this book and the other 65 books of the Bible, it comes down to this. God is sovereign and therefore chooses at will what he desires, regardless of what his critics think. It would be a wonderful love song when set to music, because the words are so magical and heartfelt. You can just feel the passion generated between the writer and whoever the story was composed for. The deep affection is just so strong and eloquent that it just pulls you in. And I don't know if you ever read it, but if you get the time, just flip through the Bible to I think it's in, don't quote me, I think it's in, it was Song of Solomon. There you go. But anyway, I am a true romantic who loves and writes poetry. So, of course, the inflection behind the words, they catch my attention, like a foreign accent would. The pattern of speech is so obviously intentional that it inflicts havoc on the senses. It just does. And it's just the way poetry is. It's powerful and it's such a love language that expresses one's feelings acquiescently and unabashedly in one of the most honest forms of communication. And one of the things I enjoy most reading a well-written book is when the author uses poetry to describe a scene in a story without saying it outright. It's a wonderful art form used by many writers to take ordinary situations and infuse them with colorful illustrations of words that showcase their prowess in a magnificent way. Poetry transforms the ordinary use of words into elegant descriptions of dialogue. All right, folks. That's all I have for you today. And as I said before, for some reason, I'm having technical difficulties. I don't understand what the problem is. But before the next show is broadcast, it will be fixed. I promise you that, because it just seems so unprofessional to have these issues. But, the show must go on. So I just I had to do it. Because I wanted to talk about, some of the things that really, really interest me in poetry. One of them, I write poetry. I think I probably started writing poetry before I actually started writing stories. But I always try to infuse my stories with as much poetry as I can get away with, because they also tell the story of what's going on there. And I just think it's important, especially if you have that talent to be able to compose poetry. Just substituting words. Because for me, poetry is just filled with metaphors, and you can use them in a way that for me it just captures the attention of whoever is reading the story, and it touches hearts when you can do that. It takes a special person to be able to use poetry to tell a story, because when most people think of poetry, they think of it as rhymes or limericks and things like that. But and sometimes it is, but true poets have a way with words that they don't necessarily rhyme, but they have a flow about them that just pulls you in and just speaks to the heart. Well, tomorrow, of course, is Sunday, and it's also the close of Black History Month. And at my church, we are having a culmination of the ending of Black History, and of course, we celebrate every single Sunday in Black History Month because it is important to us. It's important to remember our heritage, to remember where we came from, so we'll know exactly where we're going. And I just encourage you to take somebody to church with you. Take a family member, take a friend, take a neighbor, take someone who may not go on a regular basis, who may not read the word for themselves, and just need to hear the word. And I just encourage you to do that. And also I encourage you to tell somebody that you love them, because Tomorrow is not promised. It may be the only opportunity you get to tell someone that you love them. I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.